Did you know that getting quality sleep is just as important as hard work when it comes to achieving success? In fact, it might be the most underrated part of the equation. Many of us are constantly chasing more hours in the day, believing that the key to productivity is pushing ourselves harder. But what if I told you that rest, true, rejuvenating rest, could be the missing ingredient to unlock your full potential? If you want to thrive in both your personal and professional life, you need to prioritize rest just as much as you do your work. In this video, we'll dive into why relaxation, sleep, and recovery are just as essential for growth as all those hustle hours we're taught to crave. So, stick around if you want to learn how to recharge your mind and body for tomorrow, and why doing so will make all the difference in your daily performance and long-term success. Number 1. Reflect on your day. Learn, grow, and celebrate your progress. Imagine that satisfying moment when you finally kick off your shoes after a long day. Whether you spent it at work, managing household tasks, or just navigating the complexities of life, there's a deep sense of relief. You've made it through another day. Congratulations. That feeling of happiness, that sense of winding down, is something we all crave after pushing ourselves through daily challenges. You did your best today, and that's worth celebrating. But here's the thing. Even as we sink into relaxation, we often overlook one of the most powerful opportunities we have, an opportunity to grow. Every day, whether it's full of small victories or tough struggles, holds a wealth of lessons. That's where the practice of reflecting on your day comes in. It's not about beating yourself up or pointing out every little mistake. It's about taking a compassionate, curious look at how you lived the past 24 hours. Did you rise to your challenges? Did you handle situations with grace? Did you stay true to your values, or did you falter? Reflecting on your day is a cornerstone of Stoic practice, and it starts with simple, honest questions. What did I do well today? Where did I struggle? What can I learn from this? This isn't a time for judgment, it's a time for growth. By looking back on your day, you're not just reliving your actions, you're learning from them, and you're shaping tomorrow to be even better. Take a moment to think about your past. Do you remember those nights in childhood when you might have laid in bed, replaying the events of the day? Maybe you remember feeling proud of a school project or thinking about how you could have handled a tricky situation with a friend better. In those moments, even as a child, you were already reflecting, already growing. Fast forward to now, and imagine harnessing that same energy, but with the wisdom of adulthood. As adults, life is more complex, but the act of reflection is the same. We owe it to ourselves to pause and learn from what each day teaches us. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What would happen if we did this consistently? What insights could we gather about our habits, our reactions, our growth? Imagine the cumulative effect of reviewing your day every night. How much more self-aware, resilient, and focused you could become over time. Wouldn't you want to know what's holding you back and what's propelling you forward? The curiosity about your own potential should drive you to explore this habit. The answers are there, waiting for you every night, if only you take the time to ask. Number 2, contemplate mortality. Use memento mori to prioritize what matters. There's a unique joy that comes from savoring the simple things in life, the laughter of loved ones, a beautiful sunset, or even the warmth of your bed as you drift off to sleep. These are the moments when life feels rich, full, and deeply satisfying. But how often do we truly appreciate them? Life moves fast, and it's easy to get caught up in the rush, forgetting that each day, each moment, is fleeting. Here's where one of the most powerful Stoic practices comes into play: memento mori, or the contemplation of mortality. The very idea might sound morbid, but in truth, it's an invitation to cherish life more deeply. The Stoics remind us that life is fragile, that our time here is limited, and that we should live fully in the present. By reflecting on our mortality, we're not inviting fear. We're inviting clarity. When you realize that your days are finite, the trivial concerns that normally weigh you down suddenly don't matter as much. What does matter becomes crystal clear: the people you love, the purpose you serve, the impact you leave behind. Think back to a moment in your life when something reminded you of just how precious time is. Maybe it was the passing of a loved one or a close call that shook you to your core. In those moments, didn't everything come into focus? All the noise, the distractions, the petty worries, they disappeared, and what remained was a sense of urgency to live more authentically, to be more present. We've all had those wake-up calls. The Stoics simply suggest that we don't wait for tragedy or crisis to remind us of what's important. Instead, they urge us to reflect on our mortality every day, so that we live with greater purpose, gratitude, and intention. Imagine lying in bed at night thinking, if today were my last day, how would I feel about how I lived? Would you be content? Would there be things left unsaid, undone? This practice isn't meant to provoke anxiety, it's meant to awaken you to the beauty and urgency of life. If you knew your time was limited, would you spend your energy worrying about the small stuff? Probably not. You'd focus on the things that truly matter: deepening relationships, pursuing passions, making a difference. That's the gift of memento mori. It helps us cut through the clutter and get to the heart of what makes life meaningful. It's a curious thought, isn't it? How might your life change if you regularly contemplated your mortality? Would you let go of grudges faster? Would you take more risks? Would you express love and gratitude more freely? Memento mori isn't just a reflection, it's a powerful motivator to live fully. When you see your time on earth as limited, every moment becomes precious, and every decision becomes an opportunity to align with your highest values. This is a practice that can transform the way you approach your days, making each one richer, more meaningful, and more aligned with the life you truly want to live. Number 3. Read Stoic wisdom. Enrich your mind with ancient teachings. Picture yourself curled up with a book that transports you to another world. Maybe it's a novel that pulls you in, or perhaps it's a piece of wisdom that lingers in your mind long after you've put it down. There's something magical about reading, about absorbing knowledge and allowing it to shape your thoughts. It's a pleasure many of us share, and it's one of life's simplest joys. But what if, in addition to entertainment, you could use reading as a tool for personal growth, something that grounds you, expands your perspective, and arms you with timeless wisdom? That's where Stoic literature comes in. Every night, you have the chance to enrich your mind by reading the words of the great Stoic philosophers. Whether it's Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, Seneca's Letters, or Epictetus's Discourses, these texts offer guidance that is as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago. The Stoics didn't just write for their time, they wrote for the human condition, something that transcends centuries. Their words are powerful reminders that while we can't control everything around us, we can control how we respond. In a world full of distractions, chaos, and uncertainty, Stoic wisdom brings clarity, teaching us to focus on what truly matters. Do you remember those moments when, as a child, someone older or wiser would give you advice that stuck with you? Maybe it was a parent, a teacher, or even a stranger. Those little nuggets of wisdom often carried more weight than we realized at the time. And now, looking back, we see their value more clearly. In a way, reading Stoic texts is like sitting at the feet of a wise elder, someone who has been through life's challenges and wants to share what they've learned. The Stoics offer a kind of mentorship, a guide to navigating the ups and downs of life with grace, resilience, and strength. It makes you wonder, what might you discover in these ancient texts that could help you today? Could a passage from Marcus Aurelius help you manage stress? Could a letter from Seneca inspire you to live more fully? These aren't just theoretical questions, they're real possibilities. By reading even a few lines of Stoic wisdom each night, you're opening yourself up to insights that could shift your mindset, change your perspective, and guide you through life's challenges. The beauty of Stoic philosophy is that it's practical. It's not about lofty, abstract ideas. It's about how to live a good, meaningful life, day by day, moment by moment. The curiosity to dive deeper into Stoic teachings could unlock a new level of understanding for you. You might start to see patterns in your own life, areas where you've been stuck, habits that no longer serve you, or strengths you didn't realize you had. The Stoics believed that knowledge, once gained, should be put into practice. So, what wisdom will you uncover tonight? And more importantly, how will you use it to become the person you aspire to be? Number 4, detach from external desires. Find inner peace by letting go. It's easy to get caught up in the chase for more success, more recognition, more material things. We live in a world that constantly promotes the idea that happiness lies in the next big purchase, the latest trend, or the next achievement. There's a natural satisfaction that comes when you acquire something you desire, the new car, the shiny gadget, the promotion at work. These are moments when the world seems to reward you and you feel on top of the world. But here's the thing. As soon as you acquire one thing, there's always something else just out of reach, waiting to take its place. It's an endless cycle, and no matter how much you have, it can often feel like you're still lacking. This is where the Stoics offer a powerful lesson. Detach from external desires. The Stoics understood that the pursuit of external things, whether possessions, status, or approval from others, can lead us into a never-ending cycle of craving and disappointment. The more you cling to these external sources of happiness, the more you give away your internal peace. When we tie our sense of worth to what we have or what others think of us, we lose touch with the one thing that can give us lasting fulfillment, our own inner strength. Reflect for a moment on your own life. Think of times when you got excited about something, a new job, a shiny new object, or even praise from someone you respect. In those moments, the happiness feels genuine. But what happens when that new thing fades, or when the praise comes to an end? Does the happiness last, or does it slip away, leaving a feeling of emptiness? The truth is, external desires are fleeting. They come and go. But our inner peace, our sense of self-worth, and our contentment are things we can cultivate from within. The Stoics teach us that true happiness doesn't come from what we have or what others think of us. It comes from within. When you detach from the external world's pull, you begin to reclaim your own power. You no longer rely on things outside of yourself for happiness. You focus on what's truly in your control, your actions, your thoughts, and your responses. This mindset allows you to find peace in any situation, knowing that your worth isn't defined by what you own or by other people's opinions. It's curious, isn't it? What if, instead of always chasing more, you learned to be content with less? What if you stopped measuring your success by the things you collect and started measuring it by your inner peace and how you show up in the world? How much more free would you feel? The Stoics didn't reject the world. They simply knew that to find true contentment, we must stop clinging to what is temporary and start focusing on what's eternal, our inner tranquility. Number 5. Focus on your purpose. Align your actions with your true mission. There's a certain joy in waking up in the morning with a sense of purpose. Maybe it's the satisfaction of heading to a job that you love, or the excitement of pursuing a passion project that fuels your soul. When you're aligned with your purpose, every task, no matter how big or small, feels meaningful. It's that deep connection to what you do that makes life feel purposeful and fulfilling. But what happens when you're unsure of your purpose, or when your actions don't align with your true mission? You might start to feel lost, disconnected, or even overwhelmed. You may find yourself rushing through the day, moving from task to task, without any real sense of why you're doing it all. This is where Stoic wisdom becomes a guide. The Stoics believed in the importance of knowing your purpose and aligning your actions with it. According to Stoic thought, every person has a unique role to play in the world, and it's up to each of us to discover and pursue that role with intention. This isn't about a grand, sweeping life mission. It's about finding meaning in the everyday actions that align with your values. Whether it's showing up for your family, serving your community, or striving to become the best version of yourself, your purpose is what gives your life direction and meaning. Take a moment to think about your own journey. Can you remember a time when you felt truly connected to your purpose? Maybe it was a project at work that aligned with your values, or a moment when you helped someone in need and felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Those moments are reminders of how powerful purpose can be in guiding your actions. When you act with purpose, you don't just go through the motions, you engage with life more deeply. Your actions become meaningful, and you find a sense of direction even in difficult times. The question is, how often do you check in with yourself to make sure your actions are aligned with your true purpose? It's easy to get caught up in the rush of life and forget why you're doing what you're doing. But when you take the time to reflect on your purpose, to ask yourself whether your actions are in alignment with your deepest values, you unlock a sense of clarity that can guide you through even the most challenging days. Curiosity creeps in here, doesn't it? What if you could rediscover your purpose each day, focusing on the actions that bring you closer to it? How would it feel to approach each task, each interaction, with a clear sense of mission? The beauty of purpose is that it provides focus, resilience, and a deep well of motivation. The more you align with your purpose, the more you tap into a source of strength that will guide you no matter what life throws your way. Number 6. Practice self-discipline. Strengthen your willpower and virtue. Think back to a moment when you overcame a challenge, big or small, because you simply refused to give up. Maybe it was finishing a tough workout, sticking to a budget, or even getting through a difficult conversation with someone you care about. In those moments, your willpower kicked in, and despite the obstacles, you pushed through. That feeling of triumph, of knowing that you had the strength to keep going, is something we all know well. It's one of life's most satisfying experiences, and it's a direct result of self-discipline. Self-discipline is often misunderstood as mere willpower or restriction, but in truth, it's the practice of aligning your actions with your values, even when it's difficult. It's the ability to do what's necessary, not just what's easy. The Stoics saw self-discipline as a key pillar of living a virtuous life. To be truly virtuous, one must cultivate the discipline to act with integrity, to do what is right, and to rise above the temptations and distractions that pull us off course. In the Stoic view, self-discipline isn't about denying yourself pleasure. It's about choosing to act in accordance with your highest principles, regardless of external circumstances. Consider your own life. Are there areas where you struggle with self-discipline? Perhaps it's sticking to a healthy routine, or perhaps it's avoiding distractions that keep you from achieving your goals. We've all been there. The allure of comfort, pleasure, or immediate gratification is strong. But the Stoics remind us that true freedom comes when we master ourselves, when we have the strength to choose our actions deliberately, instead of being controlled by external influences. Reflect on a time when you exercised self-discipline and felt empowered by it. Maybe it was completing a project you'd been putting off, or choosing to take the harder but more rewarding path. In those moments, you're not just building your willpower, you're also building your character. Every act of discipline is an opportunity to strengthen your resolve, to refine your virtue, and to become more aligned with the person you want to be. What's intriguing is how self-discipline not only affects your actions, but also your mindset. The more you practice it, the stronger your sense of control becomes. You start to see that you're not at the mercy of your impulses or external circumstances. Instead, you become the master of your fate. Imagine what your life could look like if you applied self-discipline consistently. How much could you achieve? How much more resilient could you become? The potential is limitless when you tap into this core Stoic principle. Number 7, relax and sleep. Well, recharge your mind and body for tomorrow. In our fast-paced, always-on world, it's easy to get caught in the cycle of pushing ourselves harder and harder, believing that the more we do, the more we achieve. We often wear our exhaustion like a badge of honor, as though being constantly busy is a sign of success. But here's the truth. Constant work, stress, and lack of rest don't lead to productivity or success. They lead to burnout, poor decision-making, and a weakened body and mind. The reality is that just like any machine, your mind and body need time to rest, recharge, and repair. Without proper relaxation and sleep, you can't be at your best. Think about those times when you've gone to bed feeling drained, only to wake up the next day feeling just as exhausted, or even more so. Your mind is foggy, your energy is low, and you can't focus on the tasks at hand. It's a cycle that many of us are familiar with, working late into the night, sacrificing sleep for productivity, and then struggling the next day to perform at our highest level. But the Stoics offer us a different perspective. Rest is not a luxury, it's a necessity. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And to master yourself, you must understand the importance of rest and rejuvenation. Without rest, your mind loses its sharpness, your body becomes more vulnerable to stress and illness, and your emotional resilience fades. The practice of resting well doesn't just mean sleeping, it also involves creating space in your day to unwind, detach from the stresses of life, and allow your body and mind to recover. In fact, the Stoics would argue that the way you end your day is just as important as how you begin it. If you're constantly chasing after tasks, never allowing yourself to take a step back, you're sabotaging your long-term success and well-being. It's not just about getting enough sleep, it's about cultivating a habit of relaxation that allows you to let go of the day's worries, to reflect, and to prepare yourself mentally and physically for the challenges ahead. Think about the last time you woke up after a truly restful night's sleep. You felt rejuvenated, didn't you? Ready to take on the world. But imagine if you could carry that sense of clarity and energy into every day. Sleep is the foundation upon which everything else in your life can be built. Without a solid rest, all the hard work, discipline, and purpose you've cultivated throughout the day can quickly unravel. You need to give your body and mind the time they need to recover, reset, and recharge. Now, let's reflect on this. In a world where we are constantly bombarded with notifications, emails, social media, and work demands, it can feel almost impossible to switch off. Yet, the Stoics knew that detaching from the noise was essential for mental clarity and overall well-being. Your mind needs the space to process and release the events of the day. It needs time to be still, to find peace, and to prepare for tomorrow. That's the essence of restful sleep and relaxation. It's not just about putting your body at ease. It's about giving your mind the space to recharge and reset so you can show up as the best version of yourself. There's a sense of curiosity in this, isn't there? How different would your life be if you prioritized rest in the same way you prioritize your work or your fitness? Imagine the clarity of mind, the energy, and the sense of balance you'd experience if you made sleep and relaxation non-negotiable. Would your productivity improve? Would your mood shift? The Stoics, by emphasizing the importance of proper rest and relaxation, knew something that's still true today. Taking care of yourself physically and mentally isn't just beneficial, it's essential for living a fulfilled, purposeful life. Just as a car needs fuel to keep running and a battery needs charging, your body and mind need rest to continue functioning at their best. Prioritize your rest, and you'll find that when you wake up tomorrow, you're ready to tackle life's challenges with a clear mind, a rested body, and the energy to take on the day with purpose and strength. In this way, you honor not only your physical and mental well-being, but also the Stoic principle of balance. If you've made it this far, drop a 100 in the comments below. This shows you're part of the rare few who actually finish what they start. And that level of commitment is exactly what it takes to transform your life. By focusing on these nightly Stoic habits, you're setting yourself up for a mindset that thrives even in the most challenging times. Remember, true growth doesn't happen overnight. It's the small, consistent actions that lead to lasting change. If you're serious about taking your life to the next level, don't just stop here. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on the wisdom and practical advice that can help you become your best self. Together, we can keep pushing forward day by day, habit by habit, and unlock our fullest potential.